Hey guys, how you doing? Personally, I'm doing fine. And today I would like to show you how to create web applications using PAL. PAL stands for PHP Application Library. And personally, I just hope I can make a lot of witty comments along the way. So, here is how I organized my setup. You can organize it however you want. PAL simply comes in a folder, and you can browse it online, so I'm not really going to talk much about this. What I am going to talk about is how you can create your own projects. So here's an example PAL project. This is really just a very small example, and this is how typically PAL projects would be set up. There is a folder called cache, and this is where a bunch of cached files would be placed. There's a folder called common. In the common folder, we will place everything that is common to all the modules in your application. For all the other modules, they have their own dedicated folders. In this case, main is the only module in this project, but we can add more. Finally, there's the web folder. The web folder is really where you would place all of your web folder files, like the htaccess. There's no dot here so I can see it, but that's how things are set up. Now, you may be asking yourself, or not, why this framework? I mean, there are many different PHP frameworks out there. There's Symfony and Solar, there's CodeIgniter and Kohana, and Cake, and all those other ones that probably would be offended that I didn't mention them. But here are a few things that sets PAL apart. For one thing, it's really, really fast. How fast? Well, for example, I have a website here that is running on the iMac. And it goes through templates and components, and it actually loads 2 database records and so forth. It also does routing and a bunch of other things, and it comes in under 5 milliseconds. Well, sometimes it goes over, so I'm going to refresh this. As you can see, it jumps around a little bit, but in general, it's pretty fast. How fast is it if you access it on a remote site? Well, your website will feel something like this. Yes, that's really the remote site being refreshed. Now, you can claim, of course, that this is a very simple site, and it is, but the whole point of PAL is that you can actually build really fast and responsive applications. Just imagine using this for Ajax. Anyway, going back, PAL is also very simple to learn because it has a bunch of features that I'm going to show you in later tutorials that just make development really quick and stuff like that. Alright, because I've got a lot of other things to do besides, writing PHP code. I just can't remember what they are right now. So here are the tools that I'm using. I have MAMP installed. It stands for Macintosh, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. And essentially it's just a stack that allows me to host all these nice web applications. I also have a opcode cache that I enabled. You don't need to see this folder. I have MySQL tools, which allow me to create databases on database schemas on this computer, and stuff like that. So the first thing that I would do is I would go into the web directory where everything is hosted, and I would create a new folder. So I duplicate the base project folder. I'm actually going to create the Lucky Apps website using PAL in front of you. So if you go to luckyapps.com, by the time you go there, you'll probably see the results of this work that I'm doing in front of you. Here, I'm going to make a development version called Lucky Apps. I open it. Inside here is an htaccess file. It will reroute everything underneath the directory to this front controller. It's a typical front controller situation. So PAL is simple. You simply have to customize 2 paths. This is the path to PAL itself, or rather its front controller, and this is the path to your project. So we need to create a project. I'll simply duplicate the base project again. Duplicate, call it Lucky Apps. There, this will become the new website. Going back here, I simply replace this, Lucky Apps. Now, if I go to localhost. Yeah, localhost Lucky Apps. You can see I visited that already. It will complain that it can't find this. Okay, that's because it was taken from another project, and I'm going to have to delete something here. What am I going to have to delete? Should have been a little more prepared for this. So this actually tries to get some database records and stuff like that. We're not going to get any database records in this tutorial. Welcome to the base project. 2 milliseconds. Not bad. All right. Now we can start modifying stuff, adding more things. But before we do, I'd like to use TextMate to create a new project. And by project here, I mean a IDE type of project where you group things together. So this is what TextMate does. I will put the PAL folder in here in case I need it. And I'll also put the Lucky Apps folder, which is what I'll really be using. Yeah, I'm very proficient with this. Why isn't it getting in there? I gotta re-record this. Okay, remove selected files, delete references. No idea why that happened. But as you can see, this is really realistic. Okay, Lucky Apps. Now, we go to Modules, Main, Welcome. How did we get to this page? We got to it in the following way. Look at the configuration. The configuration allows you to set a bunch of things. For example, omit controller. That simply means omit writing index.php over here. That's because we have URL rewriting. Normally, the one thing that we should look at are the routing rules. For example, module action, such as main/welcome. But the website, the framework starts matching rules from the back, from the last rule. So for example, it will look at the action rule, and if the action just said welcome, it would go to this page as well. Welcome. Error code 404. Why did it go there? Because in the same rule, it says that the action equals 1. If we deleted this, the action would remain welcome, and we would get to the main/welcome action. Okay, similarly, if we simply had... Oh, I'm being called to eat. And in my family, that's really important. So I will re-record this later. Thank you. Goodbye. No, really, goodbye.